What is up, everyone? I'm Skratch. Welcome to another Raid Shadow Legends video. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day. In today's video, guys, we're finally going to have a look at Lamasu. I finally got the champion. It has been a while. I've been in pain because I supposed to get her ages ago. I know a lot of you guys actually got her a while ago. But either way, in today's video, we're gonna have a look at Authoratrix Lamasu. Demon Spawn, Support, Void Affinity. She gets empowered by Krutraxa. So if you have multiple copies of Krutraxa, feel free to drop them in Lamasu. Either way, she is a pretty solid champion. I don't necessarily think that she's the most OP PvP champion or anything like that, but to be honest, I actually like her quite a lot in PvE content. Now, you can get this champion by winning the Siege mode, okay? And you're going to collect fragments. Once you have 100 fragments, you're going to be able to summon her. Eventually, everybody will get her. If you are in a shitty clan, pardon my French, and you're always losing, just move from there, okay? Just change the clan because that clan holds you back. Regardless if you have friends in there or not, to be honest with you guys, when you are playing games, the main thing that you should prioritize, of course, is ensuring that the rest of the players in your clan are kind of like at your own level, and together you guys can basically better yourselves, right? If you're just carrying the clan all the time, in my opinion, as toxic as it might sound, I don't necessarily think that is a good decision for you and your own account. Leaving all that on the side, we have a speed aura for all battles, 24%, which is really helpful in all of the content, including PvP. She does have pretty good base stats, to be honest. Very good base speed at 115. The A1, Zephyr of Conquest, is an AoE attack, which has a chance to land decrease attack. The damage is based on defense, guys, so that's something to keep in mind. With the A2, the Dread Dominion, this will be on a 3-turn cooldown fully booked, has a chance of placing a block buffs debuff and a true fear debuff on all enemies for 2 turns. If the target is a boss, has a chance to put block buffs and decrease speed, which is massive for the Hydra clan boss or just in general. To be honest, I haven't tried her in the Chimera just yet. I do think it's pretty hard to fit her in a Chimera team. Yes, she does bring the block buffs and the decreased speed or the true fear, but the thing is that True Fear won't activate on bosses because that will instantly get replaced by decreased speed. With the A3, Icon of Domination on a 4-turn cooldown removes all debuffs from a single ally except this champion and places an intercept stack on them. Also fill the target's ally turn meter by 50% and resets the cooldown of all of their skills. Massive! Pair her with a Yumeko and you're gonna make a big boom. So that was my intention since the very beginning. I don't have double Yumekos, right? So I was running a Yumeko and I was running a double white Dryad Nia for my Tranda team. So what I've done, I've basically removed 2 champions, put in Authoratrix Lamasu instead, and my team got much better. Now, I don't necessarily think that she is the most OP champion for PvP. This skill can be really nice, don't get me wrong, but I don't think that the A2 is going to be super crazy in PvP because you're going to encounter Stone Skin most of the times, and if you cannot land that through fear, you're not really going to be in for a win, right? She doesn't strip buffs or anything like that. But the passive is actually really nice because the champion is immune to Polymorph. So that can be massive. You don't have to worry about bringing Pinpoint on her or anything else, right? Because her A2 lands debuffs, her A1 lands debuffs, but she's immune to ship. Each debuff placed by the champion decreases a target's turn meter by 5% and permanently decreases the resistance and accuracy by 10, stacking up to 100. Now, I don't have to tell you how big this can be for the Hydra clan boss as well, because you're going to be able to basically resist the nasty head of mischief that's trying to constantly steal your buffs once you're landing enough debuffs on the target. Now, of course, there is the question of, does this stack whenever the heads respawn, or we're gonna have to start from the beginning? That's something that I cannot answer at the moment, unfortunately, and it's gonna be pretty hard to notice it anyway, but I would assume whenever the new heads respawn, this will have to start from the beginning, right? So Authoratrix Lamasu does need to land quite a few debuffs pretty fast. I do not have a blessing for her just yet, guys. I'm quickly going to show you a few different builds actually, because that's what I have on the menu for you guys today. So we're gonna go with the very first build. We're gonna start with PvE, then we're gonna move on to PvP and other things like that. Basically, on this build, I have a curse set. At the moment, I have no other champion that will put hacks in the team except Yumeko, which of course is not enough. So I decided to give her a curse set. I have a couple of refresh accessories on her, and I have an impulse set. Of course, I prioritize having high speed. I prioritize having a decent amount of accuracy, a bit of an overkill because we are going to go on brutal. I would like to have more defense and more crit damage on her. I should be able to maybe find a better ring. Let's see. I have a defense one. Perfect. So let's give her that instead, actually. And let's chuck in a glyph in there as well, because why not? So we gain a bit of extra defense. The main idea is to try and basically 3 our Tranda. Okay, so that's the whole idea. Tranda will get devoured first because she has the highest crit damage, but with the rest of the champions dealing a bit of damage, we should be able to have everything spot on. Masteries, we have the following, guys. So I really try to keep them more universal because my whole idea is not just to use her in PvE. So I went with defense and support 3. To be honest, you could go with offense and get War Master as tier 6. You don't necessarily need to have so much accuracy for PvE, and that should be pretty spot on. But I decided to go with Eagle Eye because I am planning, as I mentioned, to use her maybe a bit more in PvP. I'm going to have to basically play around a bit with her and see, because I haven't done any live arena with her just yet or anything like that. And of course, we have Retribution. But if your main purpose for her is just basically to be a Hydra champion, War Master can be actually nice because you're going to get to deal some additional damage. Now, as I mentioned, I have no blessings on her. For PvE, I feel like the best blessing for her would be, of course, Cruelty. That will help you drop the defense a little bit with the AoE skill from the A1. If not, you could potentially get something else that will boost your aura, like an Intimidating Presence. Other than that, you're not really going to gain any crazy value out of her blessings for PvE. For PvP, up to you. You can even go with Temporal Chains. You can go once again with Intimidating Presence. You can go Polymorph. And as a relic, I just literally threw in a random relic in there just to have some additional stats. I will have to probably look for some better gemstones. Unfortunately, I don't really have any. So I'm going to see what relic I'm going to use on her. I don't really have too many good relics for support champions at the moment, unfortunately. Either way, let's have a quick look at animations and everything else that she does. So let's head over to the Hydra clan boss, and we're going to go over to Brutal. This is the team that we are going to use. We're going to have a Provoker because we do need to have Provokers in the team, guys. And basically, we have Lydia, we have Tranda, we have Duchess, and we have Yumeko. So the whole strategy behind this, Yumeko will reset everybody. Lamasu will reset Yumeko. Now, if I'm going to let this go on auto, you're going to see that something very stupid happens. So Lamasu is almost like missing a brain cell because she's actually resetting herself, okay? So she's always resetting herself. Rather than reset a Tranda or reset somebody else for whatever reason, she likes to basically reset herself. Check it out. You see? I don't know why she's doing it, but seems like she just loves to reset herself. So I just quickly wanted to show you that as well. The animations are pretty simple. I feel like most likely they have been used on different champions. I'm not really seeing anything super funky in there. But let's head back into it and show you how this is properly done. So we're gonna do that. Let's actually buff. Make sure we have that veil on. Let's try to land the provoke right there. Beautiful, just in case. I do have my Lydia on a 9-piece feral set, and that's mainly because I am using her in the Chimera. I don't want to change builds every single time. Let's put block buffs, decrease speed. Now, because this skill does not actually attack, we're not going to be able to land Hex with the A2, only with the A1. So that's one of the cons, I would say, with having her in a curse set. It is unfortunate, but hey, it is what it is, basically. So we're going to stack a bit the passive on Tranda, and of course, we're gonna stack the we're gonna stack as well the blessing and the relic, pretty much everything, because it's kind of like a nature's rat on steroids. So we're gonna go A1, put a decrease attack. Have we landed any hacks anywhere? Yes, on the Head of Mischief. I'm not gonna reset with Yumeko just yet, because I want to use the A2 on Tranda. Seems like I've missed that increase attack, which is fine. The Head of Mischief stole it. Not a problem. Let's do that and slowly take them down. Now, I kind of don't want to kill the Head of Mischief, but probably is going to die. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Let's put another Hex in there and go with the A2 on the other head right there. I still haven't reset with Yumeko, so we're not going to do it just yet. I'm supposed to provoke, but we should be able to take the head down in the meantime. Now, my Tranda is pretty slow here, to be honest. She's not crazy fast, and that's the whole idea. The other champions will basically reset. I'm not even sure what happened to the Head of Mischief because it instantly spawned back. To be honest, not sure why, because I haven't paid that much attention. So, Yumeko did not reset just yet, I think, right? I've been talking too much and I kind of like lost track of that. She did reset actually. So I'm supposed to reset with Lamasu, but that's fine. So right now we're going to go another A2 right here. Break 3 of the heads. Pump in some damage. This run was a bit more unfortunate because the Head of Mischief actually stole some of our buffs. I tend to land hacks on the heads that are strong affinity to Tranda. If we weak hit on them, at least we get some decent damage. So we resetted Yumeko with Lamasu. And from here on, we're constantly going to keep it in that cycle basically. We're always going to do the same thing over and over and over again. So we're going to land more debuffs on that head. We're going to go with the A2 right here once again and bang, pump in some solid damage. It is on brutal difficulty. This should 100% do a bit of more damage. So we want to provoke that head. Right now, I think I just decreased the cooldown of this skill. So I'm going to go with the A2. Yumeko most likely did not reset just yet. If I remember it correctly, she did reset actually. You see, talking and doing it at the same time is not necessarily the best thing because you can't really pay that much attention to it. But we're going to reset Yumeko once again. That gives her Termiter, so she's going to cut in front of Tranda. And either way, when I do have so many heads with the Serpent buff, I tend to use this skill just to land more HP burn. And this is only up to a certain point. Once I'm going to use it like 3 times, I'm going to make sure that the passive is stacked, the blessing is stacked, the relic is stacked, so everything deals maximum damage. Then I'm just going to basically constantly reset, never use Stranda's A3 again, and just focus on the A2. So we reset her again, even though probably I've done it before, that's fine. At least we have that available. We resetted Lamasu back, so she's going to be able to use the skill in a second. We're going to try to land more debuffs. Everybody took a turn. And right now, we're going to try to provoke, just in case if we're not killing that one. And you see, we have that available. We can do that to Yumeko again. You see, she has the skill available. We're not going to reset yet because we're going to go in with Tranda. We're going to try to aim at the Head of Mischief. Hopefully, we're going to hit that one. Beautiful, wiped 2 of them down, and basically it's kind of like a rinse and repeat process. And like this, I should be able to get to 2+ billion damage, and this is on brutal difficulty. I just wanted to quickly show you how this actually works, even though I've made a couple of errors in here because I wasn't fully paying attention to what I was doing because I was trying to explain it at the same time. This team should get around 2 billion damage on brutal if I'm basically just doing the same thing over and over again. Of course, the blessing on my Tranda is only a 4-star, which is one of the biggest issues at the moment. Lamasu barely dealt any damage, so it's not really worth building her for damage. She only really attacks with 1 skill. Now, if we are quickly going to head over to PvP, so we're going to change the build on her. Ignore that missing gear part because that's actually intentional. So we're going to have Lamasu, and you could potentially go with a different build. So if you're not using a Yumeko, for example, and you're just using 1 reset champion on your nuker, and that's Lamasu, you can give her a reflex and impulse and a couple of refresh accessories. This will most likely give her a higher chance for her to use the A3 more often, okay? So that's actually another viable option. But that's mainly if you're not using a Yumeko in the team with her. Now, for PvP, we're actually going to go with a Stone Skin build. I'm not really going to have a lot of accuracy, or at least not as much as I would like to have. And that's mainly because I don't have an accuracy banner and I don't have an accuracy chest piece. I am trying to get some speed on her as well, right? So the lack of a blessing, you guys know the drill, no empowerment on her. So I haven't really went all in to get crazy speed. She's still pretty fast, don't get me wrong, 384 speed. But I would definitely love to have at least 300-400 more accuracy on her, just to like literally make it count. So I could drop this banner and get the banner from my Carnage. Maybe I should do it for this showcase, right? Because this is an amazing banner. The main thing is I'm not planning to constantly swap gear around. That banner has Carnage's name on it. Carnage is actually super freaking nasty. I've been using him a lot recently, and man, he absolutely smacks with that second form. I'm not sure why not many people are actually using him. But either way, let's just go with what we have right here. 387 speed, we have almost 500 accuracy now because I've changed the banner, and we have 70k HP, 69, good number, and we have 3.3k defense. Masteries, we're going to keep them the same. As I've mentioned, we have no blessing or anything like that. Now, what I would like to basically do with her, how long? Okay, live arena, 20 minutes. We might be able to catch in a match, but I'm not going to promise that, guys, because I do have a lot of other work to do today, unfortunately. But most likely, I will be doing live arena videos, so stay tuned for that. And I will be using her in some of my teams, just to kind of like prove a point, basically. So, for example, the whole idea is that you could pair her really nice, okay, with a full demon spawn team, right? So that's one of the main things. So, for example, let's just say we're going to bring in Vulcanos, we're going to bring in Carnage, and we're going to bring in a Duchess, right? So, in my opinion, the perfect demon spawn team would be this one right here, okay? Because you have everything that you need in the team. You have support, you have crowd control, you have tons of damage, you have revivers. Basically, is the dream team. Now, true, for Vulcanos, an increased defense would be amazing. So maybe a Tarshan every now and then could 1000% work. So we are faster. This is classic arena, nothing crazy. I'm not expecting to encounter the craziest teams in here, but we should be able to do that. You see, we have block buffs, we have fear. So this can be really helpful. Now, because I have this champion in here, and we have a full demon spawn team, I'm going to be able to just try and break the stone skin on him. Now, for whatever reason, we haven't dealt enough damage. And honestly, I'm not even sure why. I need to actually check that out, what happened. Maybe I've used the wrong skill. It is a possibility. So we're going to decrease the cooldowns of the skills. Okay. Isn't it? If the target is under HP burn. Okay, we were not under HP burn. I was going to say, like, why are we not ignoring that stone skin, right? But basically, we were not under HP burn. An AoE attack, bang, we have more fear, we can revive. So as I mentioned, I feel like this can be a pretty nice team. Once again, it's not going to be the most OP in a high-end arena, and that's mainly because of how arena actually works. The meta changes a lot. We have tons of OP champions that are really hard to counter, but it's still something that can actually be pretty fun, right? So if we're going to give it another go in here, then we're going to use a couple of different teams that are not necessarily related all to Demon Spawn champion. So seems like we are faster. We can land that through fear, block buffs. Brilliant. Let's go A1 on this champion because we don't want to kill them all just yet. We want to see that fear proc. Let's go on Mitrala. Okay, fear did not proc on him, but that's fine. It did proc on Arbiter. We got a cleanse right there. So that Duchess is most likely going to revive. So what I'm going to do right now, we can actually boost the Thermometer, put the intercept stack. So when the HP burn drops, if they have polymorph or anything like that, we're not actually going to get polymorphed. And now we have HP burn on a lot of champions. We can actually just go in ham, deal a bit of damage. Really poor decision right there because I've targeted Duchess, but I did not really have a different option. except using the AoE attack, which it would have been a much, much better choice. That's fine. Carnage will get the job done. So we have HP burn on everybody from Vulcanos, more buffs. They're slowly just getting melted away, which is amazing. I love seeing Vulcanos just melting the targets away. Now, we are ignoring Unkillable if they are under HP burn, but unfortunately they are not. So we're going to use the AoE attack, kill the other ones. And with Lamasu, we're going to be able to put block buffs through fear. We are decreasing the stats on the enemy as well because of the passive, which is really, really helpful. And maybe we can remove that Unkillable. Let's see. No. Once again, this time around, let's boost Carnage, because why not? We can actually do it. No HP burn. We're going to go A1 once again. Counterattack, probably. Oh, you haven't removed it. And now you can just wipe him with a A1. So you could do some funky things like this. As I mentioned, I really think that she is more OP in a PvE rather than PvP, even though her kit really sounds like super PvP orientated because of the polymorph and all the rest of the things. Now, you could potentially use her in the following way. So let's just say you have her. Maybe we're going to keep her in the speed lead. Maybe we're not going to keep her in the speed lead. The whole idea is that you're going to be able to boost the thermometer on one of your allies that should be able to basically get the job done. So one strategy that I would really, really love to use is basically the bomb strategy. Now, I do have one... I'm writing bomb. The Nishak. So I do have one issue with this on my account. And the main issue is that my Nishak is not in Stone Skin. And because he's not in Stone Skin, that means that if Marius lands Enfeeble on him, I'm going to be in trouble. Now, if I'm going to use a similar strategy like the one I have right here, I'm going to boost with Lazarius. Marius is going to do this. You see, we have the Enfeeble. Perfect. And right now, it's very likely for the enemy to cut on my Nishak. So what I'm going to do instead with Lamasu, even though I don't need to decrease the cooldowns of the skills, I'm going to give him intercept stacks, which I already had, but as an idea, I've cleansed, I gave him the thermometer, so now I can basically just take a turn, put the bombs, no polymorph because I do have the intercept stacks, and now I can just let him do basically whatever, and bang, just like that. Now this will be very viable in live arena, and that's only mainly because I am using Lazarius. If I wouldn't use Lazarius to attempt to decrease the thermometer on Marius, Marius will not counterattack, so that wouldn't necessarily be an issue. But from my point of view, for my account, this can be a viable strategy in live arena. Or, of course, you can try and use her with Odin, for example. So let's just give it a different go. Odin, let's just say you don't have pinpoint on him, right? Or any other champion, like let's just bring in Gurgo. We don't have pinpoint on any of these champions, okay? I do have it, but hypothetically, we don't have pinpoint, okay? And you're at a high risk of getting polymorphed. So either you can use this skill and put through fear on everybody, either you can potentially give us 2 stacks of intercept to your debuffer, give the thermometer, and do that, you know? Control everybody. Now, I do have the rest basically sorted with the pinpoint and stuff, but just as an idea, that is something that you could potentially actually do, right? So, that is a different way on how you could potentially use Lamasu. Either way, that's basically what I was trying to show you with her. There are not many other ways on how you can use her. You could potentially push her in as a crowd control champion if you really want to do it. So for example, let's just take him out. Let's bring him here. Let's bring another damage dealer because we need to have some stone skin this time around. Now my Lazarius doesn't have stone skin, so he is at a risk right here. Thankfully, that hegemon was not necessarily the best, but as you guys can probably notice, it dropped the speed on my Lazarius, which means that thankfully I do have my Lamasu fast enough to cut on the enemy team. So right now, once again, I have a couple of different options. Either I'm boosting and cleansing Lazarius. If I'm doing that, I'm basically going to have the option to boost the thermometer on the rest, and probably cut on the enemy. But because that's not what I was trying to show you in this round, I'm just gonna use her as a crowd control champion and block buffs. You see, they're not getting that increased attack. I mean, they're not getting it and they are getting it at the same time. But we have the stone skin, and we're gonna be able to basically rack them from here on. We can do our metamorph and just look at all the debuffs. You see, the true fear and the block buffs can be really nasty. They haven't gained the increased attack, and beautiful. Rotos survived because, hey, that's Rotos. That's just something that he does all the time. So, that's pretty much it for the video, guys. Of course, by the time you're going to get Lamasu, most likely you're not going to need a champion to crowd control the waves in the Doom Tower, okay? So I'm not going to show you anything like that. You're not going to need her in Faction Wars, but she can be nice in the Siege mode. So if you're planning to do a team with Demon Spawn champions only, it could potentially be nice to have her in the team. But then, of course, you have tons of different champions in there that are super powerful in the faction, like you have a Vulcanos that can be used as a strategy. You have Commodus, which is kind of like a must-have in the team if you're planning to go for a Demon Spawn team. You have Chalco, you have the Cheshire Cat. You have tons of different options for this faction, but support-wise, I feel like Lamasu could be really, really solid. As usual, guys, that was all for the video. Hopefully you found it helpful. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. What's your experience with Lamasu so far? How are you liking her? Much love, and I will catch you all in the next video. Peace.